Greetings, and welcome to another episode coming to you from the Thought Exchange Cafe, where we bring you ordinary people from the community doing extraordinary things, but also where we bring you relevant information that you may be able to use in your daily practices in order to bring about some change. But also, sometimes we get stuck at those crossroads, and getting stuck at those crossroads, we don't know whether to go left, we don't know whether to go right. And sometimes we can just start to stand still and stay there. And by staying there, we don't make any traction. So here at the Thought Exchange Cafe, we do the best we can to give you some information that will help you to do the best you can to make the right decision to go left or to go right. My name is Tony Davis, and I will be your host for this episode. And tonight we're going to discuss magnetism, flow, and letting go. And I want to get right into it. I want to read something or share something with you out of Daily Reflections for Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. And Merry Christmas to everyone. And it reads like this for December 25th. Balance renewal is optimally synergetic. The things you do to sharpen the saw in any one dimension have positive impact in other dimensions because they are so highly interrelated. Your physical health affects your mental health. Your spiritual strength affects your social, emotional strength. As you improve in one dimension, you increase your ability in other dimensions as well. And then I want to share something else with you out of John C. Maxwell, Failing Forward. And this is a book that I am currently reading right now. And I'm just not reading it to read it. I'm reading it in order to learn from it, but also to apply some of the principles to help me to move forward much better. But also in understanding that failure is an option, giving up is not. And from page 45, Steps to Failing Forward. Realize there is one major difference between average people and achieving people. Number two, learn a new definition of failure. Number three, remove the you from failure. And number four, take action and reduce your fear. So, as we go along in the show, later on, I'm going to just introduce a couple of the books that I have read and some of the books that I plan on reading for the up and coming new year of 2026. Tonight's episode, we're going to talk about magnetism, flow, and letting go. With 2025 coming to an end and 2026 getting ready to start, as I look back and I say to myself, wow, where did the time go? Where did the year go? It's already the end of the year, and we're about to go into a new year. And then I start reflecting back on those things that I wanted to do, those things that I wanted to accomplish. And there are some things I did accomplish, and there were some things that I didn't accomplish. And one of the things that I didn't do for 2025, I didn't maintain my schedule for my self improvement. I'm an avid rider. I ride bikes, and I ride my bike for physical exercise, for mental exercise. And over the spring and the summer of this year, I can count on one hand or just a couple of fingers, maybe three times, that I pulled my bike out and had that opportunity to ride. In some of my past episodes, my recent past episode, one of them I discuss sunsets and sunrises. How many sunsets and how many sunrises have I truly allowed myself to experience? Did I give myself time to really sit back and enjoy that sunrise, or take time at the end of the day to sit back and enjoy your sunset. And same thing, I can count on my hands and on my toes how many times that I truly did that. So did I really invest in myself for 2025? Did I really what did I invest in? What did I give to? Where did I place my energy? And as they say, where your focus goes, your energy flows. I own a small construction company. And this summer, I have to say, I allowed this summer to become more, well, not this summer. Let me not say that. Let me say the work aspect. I allowed the work aspect to become more important than investing in myself. Now, I'm not beating myself up. Please don't think that by any means. No, I'm not, because there was some strides that I made and there was some accomplishments that I accomplished. And one of those accomplishments is being here in front of you here at the Thought Exchange Cafe. In wanting to do a podcast and not really knowing the first step in getting there, you know, I started out by doing YouTube videos and TikTok videos because that was a lot more simpler. They were short videos, they were just quick in and out. And then, I was listening to Les Brown, and Les Brown said, "We teach that which we need most." And I know for myself, there are days when I'm not motivated. There are days when I don't have the inspiration. It's there, it's inside of me, but I decided not to reach deep down inside and allow that which is in me to come alive and take hold and push me forward. You know, so once again, I'm not sitting here beating myself up or looking back and reflecting on my year and looking at all the negatives, because there's definitely some positives. So let me share with you the meaning of magnetism. Magnetism is a fundamental force in nature generated by moving electric charges, causing attraction or repulsion between objects. What is it? Creates a magnetic field, an area where its force acts, an area where its force acts. So for me, what that means is that I can't expect I can't expect energy to come to me. I have to get up and begin to move in order to create that energetic flow. Because as long as I'm sitting in one spot, I'm sitting still. I'm not generating anything. And as we know, magnetism, right? Magnetism is those things that they attract or they can repel just as well too. But we want to attract some things, right? So in order to attract some things, we have to become that magnet. And I get it. In wanting things, you need money. Everybody needs money. And when I allow money to be the motivating factor for me, those things that I really wanted just kept they just kept getting pushed further and further back, because I was chasing, but I was chasing without magnetism. I was chasing without a real purpose. I was only chasing because everybody else was chasing, and I thought that's what I had to do. No, but come to find out, that's not how it truly is. In attraction is pulling something towards you. If I want something, I have to pull it towards me. And how do I pull it towards me? I got to create an energy field around me in order to send out that frequency, that vibration, to attract that, what I want, and have it come to me. And how do I do that? I have to get up and I have to get in motion like a wheel. A wheel, it starts off slow and then it gets faster and faster and faster. And then we hear this whoo, whoo, and then it gets so fast that we don't hear it anymore, but we know that it's turning. But it begins to pull things to it. And that's what magnetism is all about. Magnetism is all about attracting those things that you desire, attracting those things that I desire. And the only way I'm going to attract those things is I have to get up and move. With the up and coming new year, 2026, quickly approaching, I'm going to have to make some decisions and some choices. And I'm going to have to make some different decisions and some different choices than I made in 2025. And decisions and choices determine your destiny. And I heard a speaker quote that quote. And for me, it resonated kind of deeply because there were some days where I didn't want to make any decisions. I didn't want to make any choices. I didn't want to do anything. But then I had to realize by not doing anything, I was still making a decision and still making a choice. And what was happening when I didn't make that decision or I didn't make a choice? Time kept moving. Time kept moving. I couldn't stop time. I can't rewind time and go back and change some of those things that I wish that I could have. This year, with the new coming with 2026 coming real quickly, I have to start now in thinking differently and getting my thought process right, but also understanding that nothing is going to come to me by sitting on the couch or by standing still. If I want greater wealth, then there's something I'm going to have to do in order to get that. I'm going to have to make some different decisions and some different choices, and I'm going to have to move differently than I did in 2025. If I want to, if I'm going to improve my physical health and my mental health, and for me, by doing that is riding my bike, then I'm going to have to make time to pull that bike out and get on it and pedal. And I heard another quote that says, the only way you're going to fall off the bike if you stop pedaling because you lose your balance. Just keep pedaling. Just keep pedaling. And once again, magnetism. Magnetism. I want to attract some new things in 2026. I want to attract some more abundance in 2026. And I'm not talking about abundance in money. Now, don't get me wrong. That would be awesome because money creates a lot of freedoms. It does. And money also reduces a lot of the fear. But in order to get those things, I got to move. I got to attract them to me. And how do I do that? It starts here in my thinking. It starts here in how I paint some pictures for the new year coming up. And I'm not talking about making New Year's resolutions because I stopped making New Year's resolutions because I would start out strong and I would end up weak. And then the next thing you know, I'm beating myself up about the things that I said I was going to do, but I didn't do. But not realizing, right, that sometimes life shows up and you're not always going to be able to get to those things that you said that you were going to do. However, in attracting, I have to create time. I have to create time. And how do I create time? I have to stop saying yes to everything and start saying no to the good and yes to the best. And I talked about that in one of my previous episodes just as well too. So I want to move on, but I want to leave you with this on magnetism. If you want to attract anything, then become that magnet. And you have to get up and you got to start moving. You have to create energy because the energy is, excuse me, the energy is within you, but you got to get up and you got to begin to move. And don't worry about motivation. Okay. Don't wait for motivation to hit for you to get up and move. No, discipline yourself to move without motivation. Because once you start moving, then the motivation is going to come and you're going to stay in motion. Nike had a commercial out quite a few years ago. And it said, a body in motion stays in motion, and a body at rest stays at rest. Now, let's go into flow. And on my note, I put like water. Because see, water has a flow. Water knows how to get around obstacles and find its own level. But water is also powerful. Our bodies are made up of 70% water, maybe a little bit more. Our brains are 85% water. And these are facts. If, go check it out, go do some research on it. And if I'm not right, come back and let me know so that way I can be better prepared next time I come in front of you or next time I talk about it. And flow is a noun. It says on number one, the action or fact of moving along in a steady, continuous stream, the flow of water into the pond. Two, a steady, continuous stream of something, a steady, continuous stream of something. Getting in the flow state. Have you ever got into a flow state? I'm sure you have. And in that flow state, you accomplish so much in a short amount of time that you couldn't even believe it. But you was in that flow state. See, in that flow state, we move around obstacles. It's either going up or coming down. But in the flow state, right, there's nothing that can hinder you or stop you but you. In flow state, guess what? We find our own level in flow state, right? If there's an obstacle, guess what? We're going to find a way around that obstacle, one way or the other, like water. Water is a very powerful source. And we have to drink water because water also is an electrical current. Water is also an electrical current. When we watch the movies where, someone's in the bathtub and somebody comes in there with a radio or something and he drops it in the tub next thing, right? Think about it. That water is an electrical current. The water that you have in your body and your brain is an electrical current. I had to learn some things about my brain and about my body, not just the outer body, but the inner body. What gives me that fire within? What makes me just want to move forward? I have to tap into something. And once I tap into that something, I got to stay flowing. Because if I allow the obstacles in the way to stop me, I stop flowing. Either I flow around the obstacle or I break the obstacle down. Think about water. dripping, continuous drips. What does that water do? That water make almost like a cup or a bowl. Even though the water seems light just from that each drop, each drip, that water holds weight. And soon what happens? Whatever is in the way will have to move, or it will be destroyed. You are the water. I am the water. Let's stay in flow this up and coming 2026. Yeah, there's going to be some obstacles because, as Les Brown said, in life, you're either in a problem, just getting out of a problem, or headed toward one. But knowing that, right, we still have to stay in flow because in that flow state, that obstacle is not going to stand there for long because we're going to overcome it. And guess what happens? As the water rise, like the ebb and flow of the tides, we have a high tide and we have a low tide. We're just like that water. We're just like that river. We have ebbs and flows, but the water doesn't stop flowing. The water doesn't stop flowing. It finds its destination and it also finds its own level. This up and coming 2026, let's flow. Let's flow. Let's embrace the ebb and flow just as well. Let's embrace the high tide and the low tide together. And remember one thing, you're not flowing by yourself because the water has life in the water. The water has energy. It's a living being. And so are you. And last but not least, letting go. This is a big one because I know it's a big one for me. And letting go. And letting go disappointments. And letting go grudges. And letting go fears. And letting go doubts. And letting go those things of the past traumas, past hurts, past pains, past disappointments. Some of those things are hard to let go because they're programmed in our minds. And one thing I want to share with you that each and every thought, let me just talk about me for a minute and what I've learned. What I've learned is that every time I think a negative thought, I release a chemical in my brain. And that chemical can be cortisol and quite a few other things. That stress hormone. And it begins to stress me out. And when I'm stressed out, I reduce my magnetism. I reduce my magnetism from something positive, but I'm pulling in the negative. When I allow those things to, and I know when I hold on to those things, I can't grow. I can't be in a flow state because now I've anchored myself in, I've anchored myself in whatever it is. It could be fear. It could be doubt. It could be a grudge. I've anchored myself in that. And now my thought process and my thinking is caught up in that continuous loop. And by being in that loop, I'm not growing. Let me read you this. Letting go means releasing attachments to painful past events, negative emotions, or outcomes you can't control. Not forgetting them, but stopping the struggle to change them. It's about creating mental and emotional space to accept the present, heal, and move forward. Allowing for new experiences by dropping the weight of resentment, grudges, or the need to replay grievances. And that is something that I have to practice more of because I'm human and I can hold on to a grudge. I can continuously think about somebody saying something to me or doing something to me that I thought wasn't right, and I'm holding on to it. I'm holding on to that feeling or that emotion, and I'm allowing that feeling or that emotion to dictate my movement or dictate the picture that's being painted in my mind. I'm learning that I have to let go because the only person I was hurting was myself. The only person I was reducing was myself. The only person that was losing was me. The other person kept going on about their life, staying in flow state, attracting those things, whatever they wanted to attract, whether it was good or bad. Because, see, everybody got their own journey, everybody got their own time to be upon this planet, and everybody got their own purpose. And I don't have to allow my purpose become their purpose. In learning to let go, I found more space. I found more time to be in a present moment and embrace that present moment, but also to live, not to just exist, but to live. One thing that I'm realizing is that this life of mine, this life of mine is mine. And I have to make the right decisions and the right choices for this life of mine. And one thing I have to do, I have to learn how to let go. And for the up and coming new year, 2026, I'm going to let go of those things that I didn't do in 2025. I'm going to let go of those things that I didn't accomplish in 2025. I'm going to let go of those hurts and those pains and those past fears and traumas of 2025. And I'm going to seek some better opportunities in 2026. I'm going to get out of that continuous loop of thinking and feeling and thinking of yesterday, those things that I cannot change. Because I don't want my past to be my present and then become my predictable future. So I want to say to you that magnetism, flow, and letting go. Find your magnetism, find your flow, but also learn to let go. It's not the easiest thing to do, but in practice, it comes easy. And as I practiced letting go, I stopped realizing that I had created more time in order to have some more happiness, some more peace in my own life, in my own mind. You know, in this thing that we call life, change is going to come. And that's one thing that we know. We also know, right, that there's going to be birth, growth, maturity, and death, right? But in order for new things to begin, old things must end. So, in closing, I just want to share a few of the books with you that I have read and some of the books that I plan on reading. John C. Maxwell, How Successful People Lead. It's a great little book. The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. Another good book. Here's a book that I plan on reading this year. Angela Davis, Freedom is a Constant Struggle. Black AF History. Well, we know what AF stands for. I'm not going to use that term right now. And The Covenant with Black America. Introduction by Tavis Smiley. And these are some books that I plan on reading and making the time to read in 2026. And I just urge you to read more this year, exercise more this year, invest in you a little bit more this year than you did on your job in 2025. My name is Tony Davis, coming to you from the Thought Exchange Cafe, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. I will be coming back with another episode tomorrow. And I want to, with 2025 getting ready to be in the past, I don't want to wait till 2026 to start a new flow or to begin to attract some new things. I'm going to start right now in doing that. I'm priming myself for 2026. I'm priming myself. So when 2026 gets here, I've already started. And as we know, in doing anything, what happens? We we hit some hurdles and certain things certain things happen. But that doesn't mean that we have to quit. No, don't. Doesn't mean that we have to quit. Thank you for sharing and being with me this evening. Thank you for giving me some of your time this evening. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Once again, my name is Tony Davis, and thank you for allowing me to be your host this evening on the Thought Exchange Cafe. Until next time, have an awesome Christmas, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
That's what I did.